back underway with DreamHack Zowie Open. We are in, well, not so sunny currently, Austin. We've been hanging out. You can see 6-3 is starting to get a little wild, and we're ready to go ahead and do equally as wild things here in the Austin Convention Center. One more game to go, and it should be a big one. Tempo versus Liquid. The Brazilians, you can see on your screen now, already found some success and now looking to replicate that versus perhaps an arguably a more difficult opponent, Liquid, who've already demonstrated that they are here to make a big statement, finding success despite roster shuffles galore. Got Yanko, Launders, and Helium hanging out with me to talk about this one. Gentlemen, let's start with the question that I think it's quite interesting to start with the kind of the prediction side of things. But Tempo Liquid, where do these guys compare? Would it be safe to say that these guys are kind of in a very similar category currently in the kind of the battle for North American dominance?
I think that I would give a slight edge to Tempo Storm, simply because they've been with the same roster for quite a while now, and they've had some stability, while Liquid, on the other hand, basically they rotated between Simple, Adren, and Kusta for 2 months, not being sure who's going to play or who's going to play what role even, right? So now they've finally decided on the roster, and now it's time for them to, you know, figure out all the positions, figure out which maps they want to play. So definitely they're not, I mean, out of this game, but Tempo Storm is the favorite here.
I mean, you guys kind of share the same sentiments. What about you, Joey?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Like, again, Tempo Storm's been together for 4 months with the same roster, so it's looking pretty stable, and they've started now finally get results, right? Winning Gfinity was a really big step for them, and since the since the semifinals were best of fives, it was a really big thing to prove, beating Virtus Pro. One of the few best of fives that went all the way to 5 maps, but they did it, and then, of course, they won the tournament as well.
So I think the best of 5 format shows a lot. Like, they have a deep map pool. They can beat like really good teams on it. They're not an underdog by any means, but that won't even shine in the best of 1, right? You get 2 bans each. You can really limit yourself down to however small of a map pool you do have. So I don't think that's going to be such a big problem for Liquid. I think the biggest problem is that they're clearly outskilled. You know, they're outmatched in terms of how much stability there has been with Tempo, and the fact that they've overcome such like huge mental obstacles, such as throwing big leads, right? We saw that demon, you know, pass at Gfinity, right? They had really big leads where they were able to close out games. You know, they were able to make comebacks. They were able to win multiple maps versus really good teams. So we saw a lot from them. And with Liquid, it's, you know, everything's up in the air. We just found out that Adren is now calling again, and that may or may not be good, because maybe they can just go back to a lot of stuff they knew originally. So that might be a defining factor for them as well.
And that's something that I think it's going to be fun to explore. Now, Adren has got a lot of acclaim as an in-game leader. However, it's, you know, we've never seen his team thrive. I mean, they've never been particularly the most dominant presence in North America. However, he's always been regarded as someone that's got the experience. I mean, 4 years of in-game leading, surely that's going to give you something good, right? But I mean, it's kind of, it doesn't add up in my mind. We give this guy so much praise as someone that's a competent in-game leader, and yet there's no. What results are we looking at? Where are we pulling that from, Yanko? Where is that? What's the backing for that?
That is the problem. Even when he was removed from the team, you had players like Fallen publicly praise him, saying that Liquid was the toughest team to play against. So it doesn't always come down to the leading, or it comes down to the execution, and that's not only up to the in-game leader. It's up to all of the players in the team.
Well, we're already into Veto. I mean, things are moving quickly here in the final game of the night, and I will let you guys, in the slightly more American corner of things, take this one and walk us through what's going down. We talked about the Dust 2 not being present.
Yeah, I think this so far is favoring Tempo quite a bit. I'm surprised they removed Dust 2 because they're very good at it, but Liquid are also very good at it, and I think like some of Adren's CT setups are some of the best in the game in general. You know, he's approached Cat in a new way, and I think that's been a big problem for a lot of teams, and it has resulted in some big wins for Liquid, so I think that's a really good ban by Tempo.
Yeah, Train coming out next by Liquid makes sense. Neither team is the best at that map, although we did see Tempo played at Gfinity. That's when they had the 14-1/2 against SK, and then SK almost came back. So Tempo lacking a bit of confidence there. So I think that ban, they're like, all right, we didn't really want to play Train that much either. And then Cash, Tempo Storm was shown to be a little bit shaky there by VP, also back in the Gfinity tournament. Most of the results are going to come from that.
The freshest ones.
Yeah, and then Liquid, of course, is a really good Cash team, so you want to take Cash out of the equation.
Tempo removing Overpass. I mean, we've seen Tempo have some struggles on that map beforehand, so if that kind of correlates.
They don't play Overpass.
So I mean, I thought that was their guaranteed. Usually that's their guaranteed.
They
veto,
probably
right?
left it till the end, so maybe Liquid vetoes it
The bait
for them.
switch.
Yeah, so they can play it. It's that the only time they did it in Katowice where they vetoed Train against Navi instead of Overpass, and then they got crushed on it. And no, I mean, Liquid is in a tough position when it's between Mirage and Cobble, right? So it's pick your poison playing against Tempo Storm. But I would have still liked it more if they went for Mirage, because Cobble is probably Tempo Storm's best map. They can play against tier 1 teams on it as well. And Liquid, yeah, it's also a good map for them, but I have the feeling that even with all these roster changes, you might want to go for Mirage because it's a simpler map to play, right? You can rely more on your players' individual skill, because they cannot outclass Tempo Storm right now based on, you know, outplaying them as a team strategically. It has to be their players having a big individual performance on top of them having a good enough game plan, so to speak.
Right. It does feel like we end up on Mirage more often than not in best of ones. Like, teams don't want to take too many, like Cobble, Mirage, they show up an awful lot. Cash, sometimes less often though, and it's like you rarely see a Train. We've seen one, but I mean, people don't like to take these big gambles. Overpass, not seen at all.
It's a map that people rarely veto. There's maybe a handful of teams that like we don't play Mirage because it's as I said, it's a simple map. It's a pretty even map as well. So it comes down to that, and a lot of people don't play custom maps. It's much more harder to play them. So Mirage is like a cool. How do you say?
Like a middle ground.
Middle ground. Yeah. Compromise.
A compromise.
I think they were in between a rock and a hard place anyway. Like Cobble or Mirage. It's like, what do you really want to play versus Tempo? Those are two of their best maps. I don't think Cobble's any better for them. I agree with that as well. But I also think that just the Brazilians in general, like, have Mirage figured out better than anyone else in the world. Like, I think the only close team to Luminosity is Navi, who play the map almost identically to them. And I think, like, any map that you can say that Luminosity is really good at, you can bet that Tempo Storm have learned a lot about it as well.
I mean, Fallen said himself, he's like, we share everything. We sit around the dinner table and talk about CS. Like, everything. They share everything. But no, quickly, predictions, gents. Let's do that. Let's wrap up into your final closing thoughts, Saunders.
I'm gonna say that, let's say they split pistol 16-11 for Tempo Storm.
Okay, belief, yeah. Let's see where this one goes for Joey.
I'll undercut him by 1 round and say 16-10.
Oof, okay. I mean, that would be, I mean, you're looking for the closest game we'll have seen the entire day here in Austin. Finally, Yenko.
I'm going with Tempo Storm as well.
Yeah, okay. There's no real belief in Liquid. I mean, that doubt.
There's no real belief. It's just that it's going to take a lot from them to get the win here, and it would be an upset in my opinion.
It seems like the general vibe is that this game started to get more lost for Liquid after that veto. You feel like that just that was like the first nail in the coffin, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I think that's fair to say.
Fair to say that Mirage could be a difficult one for Team Liquid. They're about to dive into our final game of the night. The crowd is still here and still in full force. They've been fantastic all day, and they're going to be making equal noise for this one as we get to see what Team Liquid can do. First is the Brazilians, is Tempo Storm, as we do dive into Mirage.
All right, welcome back. That was a very long passover standing right next to each other. But here we go on to, I thought, it wasn't the map Cobble?
Cobble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he's throwing me off. He kept saying Mirage. But I'm pretty sure it is Cobble coming down for Tempo Storm. Oh, yeah, it is Cobble. Good job. Maybe if you looked at the Score eSports app and it told you ahead of time what the map was going to be. Sorry. But yeah, so Cobble, I feel like we had a passing of like the crown. Is that even a saying? I don't know. Dignitas was like the Cobble team for a while, but that kind of changed. They got wrecked by SK, and they also got wrecked by Tempo Storm on that map. And now it's kind of like, all right, maybe Tempo Storm are top dogs on Cobble now.
Yeah, I think so. It was both 16-3s, right? Dignitas and the SK game. They both got crushed equally, so it's been bad, and it's been really good for Tempo. So, but that was such a tough veto. Like, looking at the maps and how many maps they had in common, and then seeing it play out in a way that made sense. I think it started with the Dust 2 ban, though. That was an interesting one.
Yeah, obviously they share that map. Both are very, very good at it. Honestly, the stats do reflect, like, both teams are great at this. Like 60% round wins for Tempo Storm, 58 for Team Liquid, so it should be close. And we're already hopping into the pistol round. Tempo Storm, we got 4 Kevlars. It'll be Hen 1, or what do we decide on at this tournament? Henny?
Yeah, I mean, he said it himself, he doesn't really care. That's a NA nade to kick off the pistol round here.
See if Kusa can throw one as well, because that's what he's got with the kit. Everyone else for Team Liquid here in the CT side went in for Kevlar. We got Adren playing here in the drop room. Kusa watching the window. He's done a lot of damage, but he hasn't killed anyone. It'll be Adren drawing first blood here as he pushes into the drop room. Showtime, though, has taken out Kusa, and Adren not going to go for any more peeking out of the window. Temple Storm, though, are kind of caught off here in the connector, and the battle's just happening in drop room. They got to go back for the bomb. It was down, and now it's just Hiko. 1 versus 2, but these guys are low. This is doable. And he'll find the first. Can he get the second? Bomb has been scooped up, and he has it hiding behind the rock, and he might just have to stand there and take the battle.
Showtime knows that he's going to try to take a headshot angle, or Hiko knows that, and now he's got to find a way to shoot him in the side or shoot him in the back of the head, flank him somehow, but he's been spotted, and Hiko just moves off of that angle at the perfect moment for Showtime to cross. I wonder if this will mean that, oh, he's going to get peeked, but no, he flicks back and gets the frag and seals it up with a 1v2. Well played from Hiko. And that was so close, right?
Yeah.
That was crazy. The re-aggression in the drop, that was some insane coordination, because it seems simple, right? You come in, let's go in window and door at the same time, but it's super hard to communicate that and actually have it play out properly. And Tempo Storm managed to trade out 3 people, I think, in drop room, get the bomb, and then bring it to a 2v1, but who better than Hiko to clutch it out?
I like the minimal reaction there from Hiko as well. Just the tiniest fist bump you've ever seen. As now we've got Elige hiding back at KFC with the FAMAS. Phelps, though, looking to perhaps lead the way into drop. He's the only one up there, so it would be 1 through drop and 4 coming out on the long B platform here for Tempo Storm. It's going to be up to Elige. The flash is only partially affected, blind, but not for very long. However, Phelps and Lucas each getting frags. Now Elige, he's able to get one. That was the bomb that actually pushed all the way over here. So again, Tempo Storm might have to take a bit of a journey to get back to the bomb.
Kusa's got a critical position. He's looking for the spray. He's finding a lot of damage, but he's not getting the kill. And that leaves Elige alone really far back in the site with only 10 HP.
Let's see if he can do it. The smoke is down on one side. Elige spraying through it. Meanwhile, Hiko has knocked down Phelps, so it's just up to Bolts and Henny here. Elige still spraying. He does finally come away with the kill onto Bolts. Now all on Henny. He's brought down Hiko. Can he get out to a gun? Bomb, of course, still very far away, and he has found the UMP. 45 seconds on the clock. He's going to reposition. He's picked up a smoke as well. Elige, meanwhile, 10 HP, just 1 shot will do him in, and he's got no utility to work with.
I think Henny just spotted the shoulder of Elige, who's really low, spammable range, and he's looking for it with the UMP. Has good armor pen, and all he needs to do is hit 1 bullet. Oh, it's so close, but...
He actually did hit him for 5 damage there through the wooden boards. He's still going for it. He knows that Elige cannot move off of this position. Now he's starting to shoot into the smoke. Look at his players creeping out, but there it goes. Henny will get it. And just like that, it seemed like we get the pistol, but upset in round number 2.
Yeah, no worse feeling than that. Losing the pistol is one thing, but losing the second round kills you. And now it looks like Liquid have to reset. Elige did such a good job there, staying alive, taking so much damage in Chicken Coop, and getting the frags he did, but ultimately Tempo Storm had control of the round for most of it until Henny was in that 1v2. And that was only because their equipment value was so low. Now we have Liquid looking to the counter buy, because Tempo Storm have had 4 rebuys last round, and Liquid are the ones who realize this, and with this buy, if they're able to win, they can put Tempo Storm back on a double save. So we're going to see a situation where both teams will buy up if they do enough damage on their force-ups.
See what Dren can do with the CZ here. He's also got the nade to go up drop. Hiko helping him out with the deagle. The 2 players in drop room right now for Liquid. The other 2 right on the B site, and just 1 over in A. Smoke going to drop down. That'll push Hiko back. And Dren's just going to hide out in the corner. Meanwhile,
we see obvious presence towards B, but the bomb is actually staged way back outside A. So it doesn't mean anything that we have players scouting right now, and Phelps doesn't want to take any damage from a scout. You can push up in your default, get a lot of map control, but to risk getting hit for 70 damage can really put you out of the round. You know, in this game, you get wounded, but it doesn't make you walk faster, but it makes you, or walk slower, but it makes you think differently. And it's not nice coming around a corner knowing that you're 1 shot away from death.
Oh, and they've run into Kusta, who actually, again, hasn't bought anything, because, of course, he wants to get out to his AWP as quick as possible. Now Showtime flying up the CT slope, quite blind now, but it's going to be Henny to get the first kill onto Hiko, and now Showtime with the Galil. Going to find nothing. Nitro finding a second 1-dig there on the round. And now Liquid with the man advantage. Adren will fall, but then Elige with the trade immediately onto Lucas. Oh, but as they push up to the broken wall, Phelps going to get 2 with that P90, and now we just have Nitro, 17 HP, 1 versus 2, another deagle headshot for him. That's the 3rd of the round, time's in the red, but Bolt is arming up the bomb. And Nitro pulled out the scout for a second, but we'll go back to Old Faithful, the Deagle.
What Bolts is doing is he's knowing that if he pushes for this map control, he gets a lot of info, and now he's pretty much got a lot of control in this 1v1. Nitro has to find him. He's very low HP, and Bolts is aware of his flank, and Nitro on the corner of his screen doesn't spot him and goes down. Now, it would have been a stretch to say that he would have hit that 1 deke anyway, but
yeah,
that's quite unfortunate. I think that was a 4-3 problem.
Yeah, it might have been a resolution, just not seeing him walk in because he's got the black bars on the side. Either way, it hurts to lose that round, but Nitro did play quite well. With the 3-1 dekes, he really kept his team in that when they really shouldn't have had that much of a chance. But still, Tempo Storm, they will move on, and they bring out the SMGs.
I'm almost surprised that Liquid don't even buy up one more time, because it's another round where Tempo Storm only have 1 alive, and so they're always on the verge of a double save, and there's an opening kill from Nitro to continue his killing spree. And he's trying to fall up, takes a lot of damage for it, and this is a really bad spot for Tempo Storm. So,
yeah, Showtime had the Mac 10, I believe, so he was just going in trying to sniff out the stack, and he certainly found it. Meanwhile, Henny only able to get 1, so both of the submachine gun players have already fallen. That'll keep it at a 3-on-3. You can see Tempo Storm have taken control of the B site, though. Bomb going to go down. I imagine Liquid will just play for exits.
Ultimately, if Liquid had armor in this round and they had gotten those opening frags, I probably would have felt more hopeful, but Tempo Storm picked the right side after having dealt with the pressure at A, and ultimately we're using Henny to scout, but the issue was that one of his teammates already died, and then he took so much damage for nothing. So that pushed them into a decision, and luckily there was no one there to greet them.
Now, which way will Tempo Storm decide to go? I guess Phelps will lead the way here, pushing up long B platform. We'll be dealing with Nitro in just a moment. Let's see if he clears out the corner. There's a bit of a crossfire setup between Nitro and the man up top, and it's Nitro with the CZ. It's like a quick dink and then a body shot. Elige with the MP7, $600 at a kill on the Lucas, so that's costly. Liquid coming away with an AK and an MP7.
Yeah, that's costly. The converting those rifles, or that rifle and that MP7, is a really big pickup for Liquid. Again, they were on the full save. They were planning to buy up, I think, this round. If not having really low money already, I can only assume.
Yeah, it might be pretty small budget for both teams, but actually no. They're doing all right. Lots of utility for both squads, and the op now is in the hands of Kusta. He was very good when we saw him last on Mirage. Let's see if he can continue that over to Cobble.
Yeah, new map, better team, but Kusta has performed versus the best of them, so we'll see.
Meanwhile, Lucas to get the first kill. Adren trades that one out, and that was over in drop. Now spraying up through the smoke onto the platform. Bolts actually has taken a bit of damage. Just trying to work through the smoke. I don't know, I hesitate to call that a one-way, but Bolts does get the headshot. It didn't seem like Elige even reacted, and then Phelps pushing into drop kills Adren. Tempo Storm 3-on-2 as Kusta gets that shot out of long A.
That's an angle you sit at because you don't expect someone to be able to notice you before you notice them. But Kusta with a pixel-perfect accuracy finds that 1 kill. And now I don't know what they're going to do. They're actually moving in for this retake. B site on Cobble is probably one of the most unforgiving sites to try to retake. I mean, you really have to beg for the team to make mistakes for you to get any kills, let alone the bomb defuse and the round. And here's one of the reasons, all the angles that you have to clear and worry about late peaks from.
Yeah, Phelps starting to clear out the connector. He might continue to push through. That Hiko will be waiting for him over in these halls. And will he actually find him? The op was able to be pulled back out, but that shot will miss. Hiko's just going to run him down, but Bolts is there to make sure nothing is preserved this time from Team Liquid.
Yeah, now I wonder where that leaves Liquid. They've actually lost 4. They won the pistol, so they've got significant loss bonus. The issue is that they have to decide whether or not, and it's pretty much up to Kusta because he's the one who needs the op, whether or not they want to buy here. But it would be a rifle if they don't. And it looks like because it's so early in the half, they feel no need to take a risky buy and risk not having that op, which they ultimately need to convert multiple rounds. This map has so many long angles that you can cut off with an op. It increases the value so much. And Nitro's just on fire right now. Getting another 1 deke. So far up to like 4, I think.
Yeah, he's got quite a few already. And there was Showtime once again being that player with the submachine gun to move in and figure out where they are. Showtime gets nothing from that. Tempo Storm actually in a bit of a situation right now. It's just 3 players up. Of course, they've got the equipment advantage, but we've seen Nitro hitting these deagle shots.
Oh, Tempo Storm have been thinning out quite a bit and been a little bit at risk. Each of their players a little bit at risk on these versus eco rounds. Now Phelps using the smoke once again. He was at this angle before. I think it's one he likes. He does find an opponent, but he'll also molly him off. And we see all sides of the map have been forfeited except for B.
Oh, look at Bolts, though, pushing down on the rectangle pathway. He's going to move around. He's going to get everybody. A little bit of spray control there. Finds the headshot onto Elige. And then a Dren. He had found 1 kill already with that CZ. He'll switch out to the Peep. 250 now. But it won't matter. Tempo Storm in a 3v5 against, just the sheer man advantage was a little worrisome, but they don't lose another player.
Yeah, I mean, they even ran into the stack, right? They went to B. They just took it slowly and then won their trades. Again, another round where it starts off so well on a full eco, but it's hard to justify half armoring or something like that this early on. So Liquid decide not to do that and have saves so they can get that op back on Kusta, who did have impact. It's just that all his teammates died at the other site with no answers. So hopefully he can rely on his teammates to stay alive a little bit longer and maybe force TS to come to him.
And I believe this will be the first round that we see Henny actually pick up the op. So let's see what he's going to be about on the T side, and you can see him actually bringing up the rear with that op. Might be the one to inevitably work the B platform. And where is Kusta actually?
Yeah, it's a good question. It seems, he's just on B.
Okay, so he is on B side. We might actually have the sniper duel here on B this round. Kusta's going to go up and try to take platform control. He's asking Elige for the boost, and it's going to come out.
This is a really tough duel. I think this is one of Henny's favorite angles, but Phelps takes matters into his own hands with a headshot.
Oh, Elige hiding below the wall, though. He's going to get almost 3, just coming away with 2. Bolt is there in the trade, but then Nitro to get him. Now Lucas, he's dropped down drop. He finds a Dren, and the man advantage for Tempo Storm once more, but it's on Hiko. He's found 1v2 already. Can he do it again, this time with an M4? But he's made that noise. That's got to have been heard. He's made it again. I think Hiko is just jumping, trying to bait out the peak, perhaps, and he did, but Lucas hit the headshot.
Yeah, I think he wanted to make presence, jump out the window, make it seem like he was making another rotate, have someone peek in, not suspecting, and punish them, but he couldn't. Look at the spray down from Elige. Almost gets the 3rd kill, too. Could have been critical one, but ultimately only does 90 damage, only to be traded out. And the 4-1 from Tempo Storm works out really well. The late drop kills made a huge difference in that round, and now Liquid still only 1 round and have decided to buy up.
Yeah, that 1 round was just the pistol. They immediately lost after that. A few close rounds, but now Tempo Storm starting to be a little bit more dominant as Elige going for some information, looking down long B. We'll take some damage back, but not too much. And the Dren still contending with people in drop room.
Yeah, now they're playing it at A very standard. They're actually assuming that Tempo Storm are going to eventually test their A, but really Tempo Storm have been content just focusing their attention on B, and I feel like Liquid just assume it's coming soon, and they would be mistaken. Bombs at B, 1 person at A from Tempo. He could simply throw a smoke, and I think Liquid would over-rotate. And Lucas opens up the round, with a frag. 5v4 now, Tempo Storm.
Yeah, Tempo Storm starting to use the little bit of utility they had left. We just saw the Molotov go out. They had 2 smokes and a couple flashes. Meanwhile, they've got 1 HE over there on Liquid, so there's not a lot left. It's simply going to come down to Liquid being in good positions. Hopefully they're not blind, and they hit their shots.
Yeah, now they're obviously focusing on long B control, and they have 2 people pushed up. Like, typically you can give up this part of the map, but Hiko, importantly, gets that kill on the other side of the map. Elige as well answers up, and now it's Lucas to return, but 3v2 Liquid.
So Elige picking up 2. He was hiding out of the little corner that they thought they may be Molotov, but no one's going to check it. Elige peeks out to find 2, ends up with 3 kills from the position, and now it's on Lucas, 1 versus 3. He'll like to make it expensive. Winning the round on 9 HP will be difficult, but any kill is going to go a long way if he can find it.
Ooh, are they going to wait this timeout? That would be the smart thing to do. They know exactly where Lucas is. He's going to try to take a fight, but Elige, seeing the pressure, doesn't want to go down and lose a rifle, so kills Lucas instead. Now, what's actually interesting there is that Hiko got, I think, the most important kill in that round, because rotates would have come out towards A if he had died as a solo man there, and struggled to get that spray down, but did manage to finish that frag, and that allows his teammates at B to just do their job and stay still. So even though Elige, I don't want to, make a mute point of his work, he did get 3 kills there. That was huge. Hiko was really integral as well.
All right, and that actually brings down the economy of Tempo Storm quite a bit. You can see now they'll go for utility and Tech 9s. P250, only 2 AKs on the round. Phelps flashing, and we'll jump off to go down the rectangle. We've seen him do this a couple times now, but Kusta not going to allow it. We'll shoot him in the back with the op. And now Hiko waiting for them on the other side of the smoke here in the mid room. Only good for the 1 frag, though. It's Bolt. That'll take him down. 4-on-3, Liquid with the advantage, and Nitro in a very powerful spot. It's like Showtime was clearing it, but it doesn't matter. The power of the Mag 7.
Now the rotates will come out. I mean, they have a pincer move on A, but Lucas, what a shot. Actually gets a headshot onto a Dren, who jumped out to help his teammate. Now Nitro's alone with the bomb. He's got a tough job.
Yeah, Bolt was ready for him. Oh, he's going to miss, and he took a ton of damage for this. Trying to go for the jumping peak, maybe not the best idea for Nitro. He misses that shot, and Bolt won't hesitate to take him down. So 2-on-2 right now. Kusta watching the cross. Beautiful shot there onto Bolt. Alige helping out in the little hut, and it's Lucas now. 1 versus 2, able to pick up the bomb. He's got about 35 seconds to work with. He can probably get himself at least a plant. It depends if he just wants the plant money or if he's going to try to play for the W.
Yeah, he's got a lot of health. He's putting the bomb down. Still got the op on Kusta and Alige that hinders their mobility a little bit, but they're moving up together. He's looking for the spray down. He actually makes it a 1v1, and that's Kusta in an awkward spot. Suddenly advantage to Lucas. Over top is Kusta, and he hits the shot. Wow, he gets that frag. And I wouldn't have been surprised if that was a no-scope, because he hit that really quickly, and I doubt you'd be scoped down in that situation.
Yeah, he had just landed on that jump. So nicely done from Kusta. I think Lucas might have been faked out on the sound a little bit. Maybe thought he was coming around on the ground.
Yeah, it's really powerful to go over top of people.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this so many times in 1v1s. It's really hard to tell if someone's above you, beside you, so if you're close to someone and you have the option, most of the time it's a good idea to just at least make noise or go overhead.
Tempo Storm realized how close that round was, though. It came down to the 1 versus 1, so they're right back to forcing. It's just Bolts with the AK, which makes sense. He's arguably the best player on this team.
Man, that 1v1 was worth 2 rounds if Liquid actually finished this one cleanly. Full B smokes cascading over the site. 5 players from Tempo Storm at long.
Oh, look at Hiko. He's pushed all the way through, and it seems they do check Alige, so he's not going to be able to get anything. Kusta will land 1 shot. Nitro waiting for them on the other side of the smoke behind Rectangle, and he's going to pop flash, push himself through, and oh my gosh, Hendy going to pull out the spin moves, take Nitro down, and Phelps from up top brings down a Dren. Now it's just Hiko. He had pushed through, he was in a good position, but none of his teammates were able to stay alive. So
Wow.
now Hiko 1 versus 4. He'll find the first. That's Phelps. Can they get the second? No. Lucas opping now.
My God, keep it 3 alive on the eco with the smokes. They did a force up and they had armor, but pistols only versus a fully equipped Liquid. And they take him down with a quick B hit. This is really tough for Liquid. B has been very successful for Tempo Storm, and they haven't even had to show any presence at A so far. So they've got options on the board, and we know that slow B works just as well for them as long as fast. Slow B works just as well for them as fast B.
All right, and with that, I mean, Liquid, we're getting a couple rounds. They were very close, but then losing that one, that's going to force the tactical pause right now. So what's a Liquid talk about right now?
Yeah, this is a really important conversation to have, because right now they're playing 2-3 where they have 2 people at A, 3 are trying to dedicate towards long B, and they're, I think, kind of worried, you know, they're trying to hedge their bets in a sense, right? Like, it's so common to play 4-1, but it's also very common for terrorist teams to make presence at A first, because all that forward area, like lower A and upper A, are easily pushed back by the T's. And the only time that T's don't want to go there is if they think there's an op staged up at long, but they won't stay there the whole round, most likely. They'll always go back, and then, you know, because if you have 2 players at long A as CT, then you're really dedicating them to a long rotate. So most of the time you want to have someone as a connector rotator, and then, or 2 outside drop and 2 dedicated long B. That's how much attention that site needs, right? So it's Liquid to I think they want to figure out how they can get their open and kill a little bit more quickly.
Yeah.
Tempo Storm imposing their will on them without even going for map control.
Yeah, so Liquid's got 3 rounds. We know 1 was the pistol, right? Starting off on the CT side, winning the pistol. The other 2 seem like they were Alige. I think Alige went unchecked below the long B plat wall. That's when he got 2 as they were jumping off of Broken. And then the other round, Alige was up on the platform, hiding out by the bench, a little enclave, and he peeked out and ended up getting 3 overall in the round.
Yeah.
So it seems like the couple rounds that Tempo Storm have given up were maybe just a mistake on their part, not clearing some of their angles, or maybe using their utility. Or just they had a lack of it in the first place.
Yeah, potentially, and that's a good point too. You know, Liquid have shown that they can stop the B hit, and they are clawing their way back into this. But it's a tough spot to be in.
I'm not sure exactly what's the money situation on Liquid right now. They did have, I think they had rifles in that one. Oh, okay, we'll see it now. That works. Perfect timing. So not great. They've upgraded some pistols, but other than that, they don't have much. So they did call the timeout not going into the rifle round like we had some discussions earlier, but into this eco, and then we'll have a rifle coming out in round 12.
Some B-hops coming up from Elige as he gets on the long B plat. Peering over the edge of the smoke. Does he actually spot Phelps? He does, and he gets the better of him as well.
Yeah, that flash didn't get Elige at all, so when Phelps ran in backwards, it was just a free kill, and that's got to feel good, getting the first kill on this round.
This is some sloppy play from Tempo Storm, because this is 5 rounds that on Egos, Liquid have gotten the first kill. Now, you can really risk someone or use them to scout if they don't have a weapon worth giving up, but ultimately, if they go down for free and that person doesn't get any information, it puts you in a really awkward spot. Once again, 3v3, and Liquid maybe wishing that they spent a little bit more money on this round because they're starting to have a stake in it.
Yeah, and it was just 2 smokes right now for Tempo Storm. They've thrown them both over to B. That means nothing to check Adren's position. Oh, but he's so blind by that last flash coming over. So Showtime takes down Adren with ease. Hiko to fall over by Rock, and now you've just got Nitro. They think he might be hiding in the smoke there in the chicken coop, but not the case. He is rotating through Museum. I'll try to set up for an exit or maybe get one of the guns from Phelps or Bolts.
Yeah, so back to the drawing board for Liquid. They're going to move in the next round with money. I don't know if they'll have enough for an op. Maybe we can check that. Wow, Nitro gets away with the bunny hop for an AK. Very nice. That's a big save. You know, no matter what, even if you're able to buy the following round, which is kind of hard to tell. 25. No, maybe not. Or I guess loss bonus hasn't been accumulated yet since the round isn't technically over, so.
Yeah, with the AK, if they save that, they might be able to get out to a buy. But obviously, we had the tactical pause. It's this next upcoming round, round 12, that they talked about. So that's where we can look to see whatever adjustments Team Liquid decide to make. That is assuming they have enough money to do it.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's contingent, like, at least for me, that they have the op, and I wonder if they're going to buy in spite of being able to afford one if that's the case. Because I think it's warranted to, oh, they actually don't buy.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that was that actually added up? Surprising. But yeah, Liquid in a tough spot. So many eco rounds that they've had. I mean, it is 5 rounds that Tempo have given up the first kill, but they've also won every single one of those rounds, right? So it almost means nothing. It's just that Liquid have found openings. They're just unable to rip the wound open further. Sorry for that graphic image.
It's gross. So Lucas is actually top fragging right now for Tempo Storm. A lot of the talk was definitely around Bolt and Phelps, but Lucas having a big game. Nitro once more to get the first kill, surviving on just 1 HP. Can he do any more? No, Showtime is going to take him out. Elige trying to play these close angles with the CZ, but that's not the fight he wants. That far away, Showtime up on the platform, taking him down with ease. Now Phelps, a little worried about that smoke, but he goes back out. Kusta will fall, and now it is just Hiko playing close by, so Phelps going to go down. Still not much of a chance here for Hiko with just the P250. Very, very blind, and Lucas will get him.
Tempo Storm are in such a powerful position right now. They can they dictate the course of every single round. They're most likely to win. They've only given up 3, and even those 3 were close. You know, one of them was a 1v1 from Kusta, and most of the time they've been able to go long B over and over and over again, and Liquid have no answer whatsoever. The closest they've come is fight for long B control or play up on B plat. But those options get exhausted quickly, right? You only have so many spots that you can play up there. One on the wall, one behind the box, which is easily Molotov. And here we have Tempo Storm hitting me really fast again, not letting Liquid get set up.
Yeah, Liquid can't do anything. Remember they took a pause, right? What happened to power of the pause? They took a pause into a double eco, lost them both, and then Tempo Storm just fly out B and destroy them. So Liquid perhaps wasting that tactical pause very early on. Tempo Storm looking to get into the double digits already in the first half. They've got the bomb down at 4 alive. Liquid are on the run.
I gotta say, that was the perfect time to speed it up. Like, Liquid, I think, were so accustomed, right? They were conditioned to being able to have 20, 30 seconds before Tempo Storm committed to anything. And they know this because Tempo Storm have been playing slowly. But because of that, they got Liquid in a position where they didn't want to use nades early and they didn't expect to have to. So Tempo Storm, abusing that fact, come out long B quickly
Phelps.
Once again.
He's heard the footsteps. He knows that they're here. Kusta's back is being watched, but Phelps just he baits out the shots and then re-peeks onto Hiko. This shot's missed as well. Phelps, he might kill them all. No, he pushes them back and Showtime will get the kill. That's teamwork right there.
Yeah.
And Team Liquid will save nothing. The economy still has got to be quite bad.
Yeah, save right there would have been enormous. Like, in a buy save situation where you've lost so many rounds in a row, you lose the ability to op if you want to do one save, and you cannot afford to do double saves over and over again. More than once a half, really. It's just too many rounds to give up versus an extremely strong opponent. So, here we have the most janky buy that we've seen.
Maybe that's what they need, right? They'll feel that they don't have a chance because the weapons they have, and they'll play a little loose, do something crazy. Maybe they'll come away with it. We do see it happen quite a bit.
All the time.
Tempostorm will slow this round down. A Nitro, you would expect a shotgun to be there.
Mentally, that phenomenon has to come because of the fear of the loss as opposed to playing to win, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's when teams on ecos are able to pull out huge rounds when they couldn't do it with guns.
All right, no damage given across to either. Oh, there it is. Hiko just took 1 damage from something. Nitro just spotting with that knife out, running across the wall. I was really scared for him. I thought Showtime, he was starting to peek. I thought maybe he was going to get taken out as they start to walk up.
And again, Tempostorm abusing what they've conditioned Liquid not to look at. And this is lower A just walking all the way up. It hits them like a ton of bricks. Hiko goes down first. Showtime infiltrates the connector and gets the kill, and there's only 1 left. That's, oh my gosh. Nitro gets killed too. 5 dead for Liquid, none for Tempostorm.
A little bit of timing, right? Because we had, was it a Dren, I think, that was spotting down the CT slope, making sure they weren't going to, as soon as he gave it up, Showtime and them just start walking up. They get into the connector, and then once the Tempostorm were in the perfect positions once they started killing people.
Wow, and we're moving into the last round of the half, and they had the option last round, Liquid, to either save one and have a really good buy or get 2 really bad buys, and that's, they took the latter option. We see that in the guns that they have right now. Mag 7 again on Nitro and a Scout on a Dren.
And then here's Henny out middle, really hoping that perhaps someone on Liquid's a bit flustered and would go for an over-aggressive peek to try to get information, but it doesn't happen. Hold on. Bomb, meanwhile, is dropped, geared up to go B.
You know what's funny about Tempostorm is they're so aggressive, and it's like NA has no shortage of aggression, right? But Tempostorm do it way better, right? Well, Liquid are like the perfect balance, or not Liquid, Luminosity are like the perfect balance where they're able to go quickly and go slowly, and they have them both mastered. But Tempostorm, I think, really enjoy themselves in rounds when they go fast. They just are so good at being explosive and tethering off each other. And Liquid just trying to play slowly. It's the most frustrating when you have to wait around only to lose a round.
And Kusa just dumped all of his utility into drop room that then Tempostorm pretty much took for free. But here's Hiko, first kill of the round. He gets that onto Showtime. Phelps positioned in drop room. Seems like they have some sort of an idea. And yeah, they do. There's Nitro with the Mag 7. Headshot onto Phelps. Much needed kill. And now it's going to come down to bolts here for Tempostorm, trying to work off the platform. Can't quite deal with the man on site. And as Lucas jumps off, Elige will take him down, and a Dren with the Scout onto bolts. That leaves Henny by himself with an op, 1 versus 5. And he'll miss that quick little shot. So what is that? Last round of the half goes to Liquid. That'll be 4 rounds for them and a very dominant 11 for Tempostorm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really bad half. They move in the next half on the T side, and that might be good for them. Who knows? You know, it's hard to say. Either way, Tempostorm have met their quota, and some. They've gotten 11 rounds on T side. They were extremely dominant. They gave up 1 at the end versus one of those looser buys, and maybe that's a mental thing for Liquid, because again, they went B but lost to some of the worst weapons that Liquid have had all game. And there's a stand-in coach, Shoka Steve, founder of Team Liquid.
Yeah, surely just there for some moral support. As you were saying earlier, he doesn't really play the game all that much, right?
No, yeah, I think he's in full water boy mode.
Nice. So 11-4. I mean, that's the type of scoreline where Tempostorm gets the pistol. I mean, it could be over from there. So Team Liquid gonna have to work very, very hard to ensure that one. Or if they do lose it, keep their cool. I mean, do they go for the force buy in that situation because you're already getting short on rounds to work with? I guess we'll find out because we are into the pistol very quickly. Actually, only 2 Kevlars right now for Tempostorm on the CT side. That means, yeah, I would say 5-7 must be down, and it's Henny that'll take that. He's the raid boss.
Actually, it's 112 who owns Liquid. I can't remember Joker's.
You were thinking about that the whole time. All right, here's Bolt, and then Lucas, Adren, and Hiko answering back, though, so it's got 2 for 2 across the map. Lucas, some quick frags, and there's Phelps with the last one, getting Hiko through the doors, so wow. Liquid trying to go hard and fast, but they get shut down.
I mean, it just goes to show you, like, how can you really analyze that? You have a fast B split. It's a perfectly viable strategy. There's no time if you wait 20 seconds for, you know, all the pre-nades that you could use on a CT pistol and then do it. It's just as viable with any other team who have competent aimers, which Liquid have no shortage of, and we see Tempo just basically hit more shots than Liquid did and win the round because of it.
Yeah, and of course, they got to the B plat early, too, so they found him at range, and you just got that CT weapon advantage on the pistol rounds as well. And I would assume some very nice shots by Lucas. And here he is by the broken wall with the submachine gun. Liquid did go for the force up. Tech-9s and armor across the board. Flash on Adren, smoke on Hiko. Not much to work with.
Not at all. And it's not technically a Hail Mary here, as Liquid weren't able to get a plant on the pistol. Will really want one right now, and Hiko is going to be smoking off door for what seems like a connector split, the one that we saw in the last map.
Now they're going to walk peek this middle door. Now they finally do start to jump in. Whoa, and he gets dinked right away, and they're also in connector. He's in real trouble right now. Phelps will try to bail him out. Showtime is going to cover the slope, but he's so blind, he can't even get one kill. Adren will take him out. Now Phelps making his rotation. It is 3v4, man advantage in the bomb plant, which is vitally important to Liquid right now. That's going to come out. Except the bolts on the retake, they do still have some utility. That nade goes out, and they have a flash. Lucas sneaking up the CT slope. He might be in a pivotal position right now. Bit of a sloppy spray, but he does find the kill in long range, trying to tap it. He's all alone right now. Although 2 players extremely low. He's going to swing out and can't find the frame. If he won that battle onto Elige, that was the one healthy player.
You know what was incredible about that round was they only had 1 flash and 1 smoke. And the flash had so much impact on the round. It helped them get up to A. And the smoke on door allowed for the connector split. So they made $500 go such a long way in that round. I mean, on top of the armor Tech-9 that they invested in. But they do pull it back, and it's not too late. I mean, we haven't reached that critical point. I think it's like yellow numbers here at 12, but 13 is the real killer. When you're 13, you could end up double saving for match point. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. Henny, spotting danger, is going to fall off slowly. Not make too much noise and give away where he might have gone. But has retreated to his friend at lower A.
You can see Tempo Storm actually did not buy very much on this round. Lucas went in for a deagle. There's a P250 on Bolts and P250 flash on Phelps. So they're really trying to make sure their first rifle round is a good one. As Liquid, meanwhile, basically an SMG round. They just got the 1 AK onto Elige. Look at Nitro getting it done over there at B. Finds 2. Henny with just the USP kills Adren. Elige is there, though, and Phelps 1 more kill. Making it a little bit expensive. With a P250 and a good flash, maybe he can get another. One's crossed into the site. He knows where they both are. But Kusta going to end the madness over there.
Any damage invaluable in that situation. It's hard to actually consider what that'll be worth in future rounds, depending on how long the game goes on. So important to know, but wasn't able to get a kill, and now Liquid have half the rounds of Tempo Storm, but they've also got a save on their hands, which is really nice for them. Again, I assume they'll use Nitro to scout out a site. He's got the MAC-10. Hiko as well has a disposable weapon. And it seems like they have a good beat on the economy right now. Are fully aware they didn't need to upgrade these guns. That's a good read from Liquid.
No,
Though I think after winning the ecos, obviously we're going to double save.
Yeah, so, exactly. And also probably realizing they didn't have armor in the last round at all on anybody. So they should expect that Tempo Storm will have a pretty strong round 20. But Liquid definitely need to use this as a chance to keep everyone alive, try to get as many kills on those submachine guns. Even though it's the T side, building that economy, gearing up for the comeback is very important. As Nitro just going to clear out the wall close with the Molotovs. Adren just giving up that angle. I think they might be going over to B. Nitro's pushed out pretty far now on the platform. He'll drop, check everything under him. Elige, meanwhile, going to come away with 2 kills. That's where Nitro goes. Will he clear drop? He's going to push straight into the connector, actually. So Phelps taking first contact. Hiko takes him out instantly, and now it's just Henny by himself. So far, everyone for Liquid alive.
I actually really love how Liquid approached that force or anti-force buy when they came along B, because they put Nitro in front, but they were all grouped up at long B, so they allow him to scout. He gets way far ahead of the pack, meaning that he could get killed and the Macton could be dropped, but he'll get a ton of info when he gets through the site, and if he knows that the site is empty, you got 3 people behind you ready to trade out all your frags or ensure you don't die in the first place. And I like that so much more than Tempo Storms because they were leaving one player on an island who could die with no trades and then no way to capitalize on the info that they get.
Well, we've been seeing this angle a lot recently on Cobble with the op posted up in danger. That's going to be Henny, who was able to afford that op and even a smoke. He's supported up by a teammate there at long A, and he spotted the foot, although the shot was not baited.
Yeah, this might relax your opponent. You know, you notice that you've crossed that angle that so many people use, and no one's taking a shot. Well, maybe I just walk by next time. Maybe I just walk into lower A. So it's important not to make noise. And here's the NIP execute that they're going to use on B. And you can use this as a fake. It's 3 smokes that land as a wall smokes on the site. And if you would just have someone throw the Olaf smoke or someone to make presence close, you could just send with someone late drop and go 4A, or you can go B off them too. All right, it works out really well.
Let's see if they all land, first of all. We got Nitro coming around. Bolts will win that battle on the platform, so that's important. Maintaining that platform control. He's actually dropped off, but still in a good spot. Okay, Molotov will deal with that. Kusta will kill him as he was pushed out of the position. Elige now taking the battle. The drop takes a dink immediately, but does kill Phelps. Another big individual win there for Elige. As Kusta will cross to try to plant that bomb. Showtime's already moved up to the rock. Be a flash and a nade over to the chicken coop, and that's Elige down. And it looked like Lucas, he took a bullet to the head. He was fighting some aim punch because he went without the helmet, and now Adren has killed him in the drop room. It's all up to Henny, 1 versus 1. Adren, location is known. I don't know if they realize how low he is, and wow, Adren nearly wins it, but he was on about 11 HP, so Henny just had to land 1 bullet anywhere.
That was incredibly close. And I think someone just completely whiffed the smoke. I don't know who to call out. But
yeah, it didn't seem like they all landed from that strat, right?
Yeah, no, that was just supposed to be wall smokes. I mean, one of the most important smokes. And it's really important because if you come across the site, you just assume the smokes are down, and you just have to worry about finding people, and you have a certain expectation about where someone would push around a smoke based on tendencies you've seen in the past. But if that smoke is gone, it can totally throw you off your game. So it's just, you know, when you have that much safety to throw a smoke and the time to do it, you just got to land them. It's so important.
Liquid had a couple big rounds, of course, so another full buy for them, even after the loss. Meanwhile, Tempo Storm just had 1 player survive on the CT side, so you can see their weapons are a bit eclectic. Henny still has the op, though, which might be important. Took a lot of damage.
Yeah, this spam becoming more and more common. See pinpoint accuracy there as Henny takes up to 70 damage. Lucas is going to aggress and re-aggress long B at different intervals because if he stays up there, he could risk getting naded, but as long as they can keep re-smoking it, he can make presence without actually taking damage. And that's going to be pretty much the best play for him.
Well, Tempo Storm starting to run out of some of that utility. And here they go again. We'll try to pay attention to exactly if all 3 of these smokes actually make it onto the site.
These are really rough jump smokes. Like, you're aiming at the wall. You can see where they're all aiming.
Well, they've all gone over. And I think the last one might have hit that tower.
That's supposed to.
We'll see as the Nitro starts to push out. Meanwhile, Bolt has actually killed Nitro, so Nitro won't get anywhere. Elige is there on the trade. Lucas playing underneath. So Goomba'd by Kusta landed right on top of him. Phelps there with the max 7. Fighting at range, no chance. Henny, again on his low HP, actually finds 2 kills. Now he's by himself. But the bomb is down. 20 seconds. Oh my goodness, what a flick. A downward flick, and he tags him jumping off. He knows this. He pulls out the pistol, but Adren will still best him. He finds his 2nd kill of the round, and Liquid will win another one.
Yeah, they actually win that one. Even though losing the last one, Adren and Henny getting the better of him. And, you know, I want to be careful about calling out that smoke because they did the exact same strategy again, and that smoke wasn't there. Maybe it's not there on purpose. I'm not sure, but it seems like a weird one to miss. So, or to miss twice at least. But they look like similar positions from the strategy that NIP concocted. So it works out in the end. Even the last round where they lost it, they brought it to a 1v1. It was quite close. This time Adren is the better man in the exchange. And Elige has already made his way up A.
Yeah, you can see Tempo Storm went for the full B stack, so you can't really blame them. But of course, they look a bit silly now as Liquid completely juked them and are on A site for free, about to plant 5 versus 5. Nitro, oh, that's through the smoke! Nitro just gets 2 of them, expecting them to walk up, and then Elige is here in the back halls. He finds one. Now just Henny and Lucas, the twins.
It's in the D.
Second kill there from Elige would have been madness, but he does take down Lucas. Henny, I mean, it won't really do him much good to save this MAC-10.
No, not at all. I mean, he's almost certainly going to use it. Unless they're going to save the next round, there's pretty much no point in hanging on to this, and even still, he's going to buy armor to try to survive aim punch. I mean, it just doesn't seem reasonable. But either way, he's hunting, because that's probably his best play, to take down equipment value as opposed to save his own. Damage himself, but no kill is found, and he actually looks like he'll stay alive with the MAC-10.
It's an ambitious battle at that range with the MAC-10. Couldn't quite get it done. So that's one more for Liquid, and that puts them actually in a pretty good position now, right?
Yeah, it is a pretty good position. And, you know, the thought that I think has crossed both our minds at this point is Tempo Storm have been known to blow big leads, and we saw them definitely get over that at Sivo Land. But this map being a T-sided affair maybe isn't something to note, because it can commonly be that. But in this situation with Tempo Storm in particular, it could just be a mental thing, and maybe Liquid were just a little bit cold to start. Now, Elige opening up this round with another kill. And these are the double saves that Tempo Storm had Liquid on as well. So that's a huge reason you can point to try to explain why the round lead is so great.
Nitro to bring down Lucas. Will he get some more kills through that smoke here at the door? It looks like he'll give that option up. Bolt sitting tight with that 5-7. As Henny starts to rotate over with the MAC-10, making some noise. It's quite an angle here from Nitro. But no one's actually going to cross the vent.
Yeah, and I wonder how much this has done for Liquid, because they got up A for free last round and managed to save at least 4 people. So on this round, it looks like they're going to do the exact same thing. And that's going to mean that Tempo Storm have to go through a brick wall to get to that 15th round. They're going to have to beat 2 force-up or 2 full buys in a row.
Why not a cobblestone wall?
Cobble wall, yeah. A London wall.
As Henny does actually get 1 kill there on the exit, I'm surprised, because Hiko was all the way down in the dragon room or by the stairs. He had the exit completely cleared on that side, but someone still decided to go through the connector.
Elige has 27 frags already in 23 rounds. Sporting an above 1.0 KPR.
Yeah, I imagine even in the first half, it wasn't that bad. A lot of the rounds they won came down to Elige getting 2 or 3 kills.
Right.
So he has been doing well throughout the match. But finally, another rifle round to come out.
This is a huge obstacle for Liquid, because they know that this round is worth 2, and that's their best route to tying it up, or even getting to 14 before Tempo do. But Tempo Storm have the op. They have the advantage of knowing that they have a round to spare, and they've also been a threat in this game in general. So confidence on their side.
Well, Henny doing what is so scary to do on the CT side, looking out in middle, trying to find some information. There's no one necessarily out in the yard, but we do have 1 player from Liquid up in long A already, and a couple on the stairs. So Henny will need to be careful. And look at the counter boost, though. That's Phelps, I believe, that's been sent up.
Phelps doesn't actually have to aggress here if he doesn't feel comfortable. I mean, he has information, and he can just stand here, and the entire time his teammates don't have to worry about drop. So he literally doesn't have to get a kill, and it's worth so much in value of information just standing here.
Well, here come the Molotovs out to a couple positions. One of them I saw was definitely on top of the tree boost, but there's Henny in the connector. He brings down the Legion. Phelps, he's gone down. He dropped off the boost the other way. He's got 2. He brought down Nitro and Kusta, and then Showtime. And just every single person on Tempo Storm stepping up and winning the duels. And now it's just Hiko left all alone.
Information is everything, and that entire round, Tempo Storm had control of it, because Liquid didn't make presence at drop. That means that for Tempo Storm, if they're not boosted drop, it doesn't matter. But if they boost drop and Liquid don't have info there, then Tempo Storm have an ace up their sleeve. And that was in Phelps, you know? Getting that kill was incredible. Getting the second one because Kusta missed was fortunate, but even without that, they still have such a good chance.
Counter-terrorists win.
And Hiko will just hold on to the AK. Money, though, still quite good. I think I saw someone with like $11,000 on that T side for Liquid, so they should have guns again.
Yeah, definitely. They had the double save to work off of. They saved, I want to say, 7 people in total in those 2 rounds. And there's Phelps getting that second kill on Kusta, who failed to cover the flank, and now Tempo Storm are 1 away, and maybe just 1 away from actually just winning this game, because Liquid's money might be hurt after this. It's hard to say.
Saw Hiko kind of botch that Molotov. He wanted to throw it into the drop room. May not matter in the long run, but still. Oh, look at how many rounds have been won on the T side.
Yeah.
For both teams, that's crazy.
A T-sided affair. And actually, after the pistol, both second rounds were converted, so.
Yeah, exactly. If Henny gets a kill from this again, surely they've got to like flash this or smoke it or just run and jump. But then again, Henny's one of the quickest reaction operators that there is, so I don't even know if running and jumping is going to work. All right, it will.
But he doesn't respond though, so this might give them a little bit more, too much peace of mind. And wow, someone almost just walks into the scope of Henny, who misses his second shot or second opportunity.
And that flash, they heard it coming. Showtime completely dodging it. He peeks out, just finding the one kill. Maybe still could have hid there and bought some time. I think that was Henny dropping off, moving over to A, committing now, and it's Phelps in the back of the site. Bolts is going to fall. Kusta to deal the killing blow. And now Henny getting online with that op. Hiko takes him down from behind, but he's getting shot at through the smoke. He's a little bit confused, and we've got a 2-on-2. Hiko working his way around. Phelps on the site takes down Kusta, who I think was trying to get up the wood paneling, and the peek's got to come out. Hiko nearly winning that as well. Lucas has gone down, so now Phelps in the 1 versus 1.
Scary man on both sides, and wow, Phelps, what an angle, actually reads that play from Hiko and catches him coming around the other side of the truck, excuse me. And that's for match point.
You can see the...
There's the big brothers.
Yeah, the big brothers, right? I think that's fair. Cheering him on. Until they maybe have to play each other, then we'll see.
I think, honestly, like a final is most likely.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it too soon, but both teams look on point right now. And even though Liquid have shown some finesse in this T side coming back, it's Tempo Storm to just be closing it out, or coming really close to closing it out. Adren has an awful buy, only a Tech 9 and a couple of nades. Not the worst thing in the world. Sometimes it's better to have the Tech 9 than the Glil because you can pick up an AK afterwards. But if you have the Glil, then you're stuck with it for the rest of the round, most likely.
And Tempo Storm, of course, have 5 match points. The pause is available to them as well still. Liquid kind of wasted theirs earlier on. There's Showtime with the first kill. Adren, and the one with only a Tech 9, actually comes away with the 2 frags. Now he's picked up the M4A1S.
Phelps is in an awkward spot. This is actually a really hard angle for people coming up slope. It's better for people crossing long.
He gets 2. It's going to be a 3rd, nearly. About half damage there to Kusta, who's then cleaned up by Bolt, and Bolt gets a double to end the round. Adren trying his best to open it up the round with 2. And he's the last man to go down, and that'll be Tempo Storm taking Cobble 16-10, which coincidentally was my prediction for team and number of rounds. That's a career first for me.
That's close, yeah. I called 16-11. You undercut me by 1 round. I want to be in your head right now.
I'll take it. All right, well, the handshake's coming across. But yeah, overall, it seemed like Tempo Storm is pretty much, maybe just because they started on T-side first, but it seemed like they were in control the whole time because the first half was so dominant. But we did see Team Liquid with their T-side as well.
Yeah.
If they had started off on the T-side in the first half, we might be saying the same thing to some extent.
Definitely. You can give up some of the early rounds, and it doesn't really count against you because if you're able to adapt and close out the game at the end of the day, then all that shows is that when it mattered, when you were able to take some information and use it, you were able to come out with a win. And Tempo Storm, seal that up with 6 rounds to spare. And as close as some of those rounds were, like, you have to give them W.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it. That is the last game of the day. It's been quite a long day, and we'll have the last interview. That's Mix on stage.
Thank you very, very much. Congratulations, Peacemaker. You guys are on to the semifinals, the second Brazilian team to make it there. Before we start talking about the games themselves, what are your first thoughts on making it to the top 4?
Well, it's the second time in a row that we go into the semifinals, so it feels very great. Like, it's the 4th time that we play a big tournament, and yeah, it feels very great that we have these good results.
Well, let's talk about that map on Cobble to begin with. Obviously, this map is a really strong map for you guys. You've shown that you can take down teams like Na'Vi, taking down teams like Envy recently at Melma on Cobble, but you had a really great first half. In the second half, it started to look like maybe Liquid could come back, but what was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, exactly. Like, first of all, they surprised us, like letting Cobble. But Cobble is a really good map for us. We feel really comfortable at, and we made a really good T-side. And City side, we won the pistol. They won the eco round, broke our economy. Then they started to get momentum in the game. Then another time they broke our economy, managed to get 2 more rounds. And then they started to get momentum in the game. Then we just talked about what they were doing, and they were playing really slow. And then we just adjusted their style and managed to finish the game.
And I just feel like everyone is stepping up so much on Tempo Storm. Obviously, everyone knows that Henny is an amazing operator. He has his amazing impact kills. At Civo, we saw Bolts and Phelps really step it up. Then earlier today in the first map, we saw Showtime just absolutely explode. And this map, it was Lucas. So all across the board, everybody on Tempo Storm is really starting to step up. So what do you attribute that to? Do you think you just attribute it to everybody's confidence just rising and rising?
Well, a lot of hard work, good atmosphere in the team, and a lot of talent in the team. So one tournament, like I said, it was Bolts and Phelps going huge. Today it was Showtime and Lucas. It just proves that our team is really good, and we have 5 talents in the team. And yeah, it's very happy to see that we're performing this good.
Well, we mentioned a little bit earlier about how you guys have had an insanely busy schedule. I believe in the past month you guys only took 2 days off, as you mentioned earlier, and now you will have 1 day off before you are playing again on Sunday in the semifinals. So how do you guys plan on using this day off? Are you going to just take a break because it's been so busy for you guys, or do you plan on using that to maybe do some thinking about strategies?
Yeah, probably we'll watch all the matches tomorrow, get ready for whoever we face in the semifinals, and yeah, just relax a little bit tomorrow and get prepared for Sunday because it's going to be really tough.
Well, you guys certainly deserve it. Well, congratulations again, Peacemaker. And with that, we do have 2 Brazilian teams that are moving on to the top 4 here at the DreamHack Zowie Open Austin. We'll head back to the desk to wrap up the day.
Thanks very much, Sue. Always good stuff from Tempo Storm, and they've done it again. 2 Brazilian teams already sitting in the semi-final, waiting for some North American opponents. They turn up and they do exactly what the desk and everyone really at home was anticipating them to do, as they have been leading the way for quite a while now in North America, ever since their arrival exploding on towards the scene early last year. Gents, let's talk about this one. We've got Cobblestone. It wasn't Mirage. I'd like to apologize to everyone. It's definitely been a bit of a long one for me. I promise I'll be fresh tomorrow. But I got the map right this time, Cobble. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Yanko, we'll start with you. I know you're disappointed in me. But let's talk a little bit about that Cobblestone. Because I'm not going to lie, towards that second half, Liquid started to look pretty damn good.
Yes, but again, people messing up their anti-force by rounds, right? Good start for Liquid. They win the pistol round. You think they're just going to get their momentum going, but then they lose the round after that. It becomes the opposite. Tempo Storms got, I think, 6 rounds in a row. After that, their economy was looking great, and almost every time Liquid would win a round, obviously Tempo Storm wins the next one and resets their economy, which makes it much harder for them to play. Even with a great game from Elish, we see that he almost got to 30 kills, but he was just outmatched by the players from Tempo Storm as a whole.
And on the other side of the court, I mean, like Lucas just had an outstanding game. You guys had the pleasure of casting it. He just felt like he was worming his way into the site more often than not and getting under their skin. They often couldn't quite get their head around where he'd come from.
It seemed like early on he was having a lot of success winning out in the drop room battle. And then we also saw him just flying off the platform a couple times. And he was sometimes not the first person in, and felt like he was getting a lot of trades. But yeah, Lucas was playing great. And that's good to see, because he was like maybe brought into question along with Showtime after what happened over in London at Gfinity. So it's nice to see that each of them, Showtime and now Lucas, have both stepped up today.
Yeah, I mean, but like, what did we see from Tempo that we didn't see from Liquid? I mean, for one, I can't help but feel that Henny is just terrifying. Whenever he's in a situation that nobody should be winning, I mean, that close clutch where he even got the leg on the last guy, like they just make you shiver. Like, this is not supposed to be happening, and it's refreshing to see this young talent kind of already present on Tempo.
Yeah, so I mean, what Liquid have that, I mean, honestly, if you look at both their halves, you see that Liquid were doing a lot of things the same, just as good as Tempo were doing. You know, people were shaky on their anti-force buys on both sides, and the only reason that favored Tempo is because they were able to pull out more and got ecoed less. You know, even on the rounds though that they did win, they gave up the opening kill, they gave up 2, and then they just managed to come back from it. And Liquid just weren't as fortified.
I think also a big problem for Liquid was defending against the big O from Tempo Storm, the smoke execute. Whenever Tempo Storm went for it, they would win the round, I think. So, I mean, it's talking about the CLG Cloud9 game earlier today, right? About the CT side and how it mostly comes down to individual performances of players and that small coordination in the bomb site. Once you have to deal with a strategy like that, it was a bit of both. Also, you could see that Liquid, it was more or less every player for themselves in those situations. And most of the time they just got overwhelmed by Tempo. And you could hear it in the interview as well, that Tempo Storm was surprised themselves that the Liquid let Cobble through because it is their best map.
And you heard it from Peacemaker himself. It was like, we were kind of surprised that we got Cobblestone. So even then, we not... What?
I just said that.
I had someone talking.
Oh,
sorry.
We can't verify that.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at me so serious, and I'm.
That's because I'm sitting there going,
I'm expecting something, Alex. Just repeat.
Did I let you just repeat, dude? I was just trying to
repeat from word to word.
Well, that's what happens when you've got 7 voices in your head, and only one of them's coming from production. We've got to though go ahead, and I was going to say recap not only that game, but the entirety of the day. I feel like now is a good time before I completely go off the planet. But you can see how we started. We did get to see Luminosity Splice, and of course we'll be seeing more of them bright and early tomorrow. Luminosity continuing in a kind of crazy fashion, only conceding 8 rounds so far here in Austin. And things looking equally as good for their Brazilian brothers. You can see NRG1 and Liquid just pushing it with double those rounds from 5 to 10. And then, of course, Selfless in the lower bracket alongside them after conceding that loss to Liquid. Still, NRG and Selfless, that's going to be an interesting matchup to experience tomorrow. And here are the guys that are gifted a day off. They can enjoy the Austin sun. They can hang out and probably, get a good feel for who their opponent's going to be in the semi-final. They get that day off, and they're going to be making full use of that. We, however, don't. And we're back bright and early, gents. We're going to be back, I think, 9:45 is going to be kickoff local time. You can Google that. I'm not going to try and work out what actual time that is all across the world. I also need to tell you something special, which is, of course, a big love to our sponsor. Our main sponsor of the event is NVIDIA. All of the gaming PCs that they're competing on are hooked up with NVIDIA GPUs. So much love to them for making this event possible.
Please give me the new card.
Huh? Oh my God! Yeah, did you see the announcement? And it's something like half the price of whatever the Titan is. So okay, mind blown. We're going to be looking and doing the shopping. You can do the same. But for now, what I do need to do is introduce something you'll probably not have heard of before. But it's a video explaining how to use an app called the Score eSports. It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for